Welcome back to week 29 of Worship at Home. Here at work, finishing up this week's video. This week we talk with Nathan, my son, about his chest surgery that he went through last year and how God helped him through all of that. Hope you enjoy. God bless. Welcome back, everybody. We're here today with Nathan. He's going to tell his story about his chest surgery that he went through last year. It's a pretty major deal.
Yep. Yeah, so when I was younger, I was born with a medical condition called pectus excavatum. It was basically where like my sternum gets concaved and there's like a big indentation in my chest. As a kid, it didn't really bother me all too much, but as I grew up, it started to affect me in my like day-to-day life. And around 18 or 19, I started getting these sharp pains that would start in my chest and like shoot up throughout my whole chest and sometimes into my back, going into my arms. At first I didn't really think much of it because I I don't know, it only happened every once in a while. It wasn't too terribly bad. But as I was getting older and older, it started to happen more frequently, and the pain started getting more sharp. And it sent me to the hospital a couple times, actually, while I was going to Campion. After going to many doctors, I finally found one in Kansas City that knew what was wrong with me. It took me a good 2-3 years of trying to figure out what was wrong with me before we actually were able to find somebody who knew what was going on. And they told me it was pectus excavatum, something I'd never heard about before, even though it turns out it wasn't that uncommon. When I was living in KC, I was actually able to find a doctor who was able to perform a surgery on me to fix the problem. And it was actually a really big blessing being in Kansas City at the time, because there is only 5 doctors in America that do this procedure on adults. And luckily one of those doctors was in Kansas City, right where I was living. Most of the time they do this chest surgery on kids so that they can grow into it instead of, I don't know, it just works better with kids than adults, is what I was told. And there's a lot more doctors that do the surgery on kids, because it's a lot more common for kids to get the surgery. I was able to schedule the surgery, and eventually the time came through to go through with the surgery. Man, I was so nervous. The doctors told me that it was not going to be a good surgery. They told me ahead of time that it was going to be painful, that it's going to suck. And it was also my first surgery ever getting. So it being the first surgery and hearing all those things, man, I was pooping my pants a little bit. When I got the surgery, well, I guess before I got the surgery, they told me about the surgery, and I did some research on the surgery, because there's a couple ways to do the surgery. Back when they weren't doing a whole lot of research figuring out how to do it better, the way that they would fix the problem is they would completely break out the sternum and put in a new one. But as research became better and medical stuff got better, what they do now is they'll insert a bar. So the bar goes from here all the way across my chest to here, and it pushes out my whole sternum. And that's what happened to me. I'm living with a bar in my chest right now, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. When I woke up from my surgery, it was the worst time of my life. I was in so much pain. I was in the hospital for 4 days after my surgery, which was actually pretty good, because they told me beforehand that I'd be in the hospital for 6 days after my surgery. So I was able to get out even before they were thinking that I would. The month following my surgery was probably the worst of the recovery, of course, because it's the first month after my surgery. But luckily, my girlfriend is living in Kansas City, and her parents were nice enough to allow me to live with them while I was recovering, because they were in Kansas City. I didn't have to, drive a long ways to go see my doctor whenever I needed to. It was all right there. It was really convenient. And I don't know what I would have been able to do without my girlfriend, because she did everything for me in that month after my surgery, because I could not do a single thing. I couldn't even get out of bed without her help. So I'm really appreciative of her. It took me a long time to get back on my feet, but now I am. I'm ready to start a new chapter in my life. I'm living in Wichita again with my dad so that I can go to WSU Tech and start a new chapter of my life, get going with things, because I've been held back because of this surgery, and now that it's all over, and now that I'm almost a year out of my surgery, I can finally start living my life normal again, and going to school is the first step I'm going to take to that. So I'm just really thankful to God for getting me through everything. I know that there was a lot of prayers during my surgery. I knew that there was a lot of down times for myself personally, thinking that, I'd never recover, I'd never be the same, but I don't have the chest pains anymore. I can barely tell that this bar is in my body, and I'm definitely thankful. And if I had to do it again, I would do it again. Even though I wouldn't want to do it again, I would do it again.
You had set up a GoFundMe account.
Right, I did set up a GoFundMe account.
Because of the tremendous medical bills. What did your bills end up costing?
So, after my surgery, I got my first bill, and this was before it had been looked at or insurance got a hold of it. I'm not really sure exactly how it all works, but the very first bill that I got was $115,000, which hurt a little bit. I was like, man, I'm going to be paying this off the rest of my life. About a month later, insurance got their hands on it, and I got the final statement, and it ended up being about like $950, which is amazing. And actually, it worked out really well because I raised about $1,100 from my GoFundMe.
Nice.
And now it's stress off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about it anymore. The only thing I now have to worry about is in 2 years, I will be getting this bar removed. But other than that, it's all behind me.
What are they forecasting recovery on that procedure?
When they take the bar out of me, they told me that I would be able to go back to work the next day.
Okay. Now they told you would have to take 6 months off of your feet.
Right. They did say I would need to take 6 months to recover.
And how soon were you up and working again?
I was up and working like 3 months after my surgery.
Pretty amazing.
Yep, I healed pretty quickly. I think a big reason why I was able to heal quicker was because right off the bat, I made it my number one goal to get off of my pain pills as quickly as I could, because I really didn't want to have to deal with that. I didn't want to even risk becoming addicted, because the pain pills that they gave me were the pain pills that everyone's been getting addicted to. But I was able to get off of them a week after I got out of the hospital. It sucked a little bit, but I think it was well worth it.
Yeah, I remember getting those phone calls from you. You couldn't even play basketball, or you couldn't really do sports and camping because of these chest pains.
Right. I was very limited. But, this past summer at Broken Arrow Ranch, I was playing basketball. I was working maintenance, lifting over 80 pounds with no stress, no hurt.
Nice.
Well, there's a little bit of, I can always feel the bar in me, always. But it's felt like it's become a part of me now, if that makes sense. Sneezing really hurts, still.
Oh.
But that's about it.
Don't sneeze.
Oh man, I sneezed like a day after my surgery, and I started crying. It was so bad.
How would you feel God helped you through this?
Well, I think it was a miracle that I was able to get back on my feet in 3 months instead of 6. I think God helped me with my pain so that I didn't have to take the pain pills anymore after that first week. I was kind of able to just roll with it. I feel like God gave me the courage to go through with the surgery, because I don't know if you remember, but I kept pushing it back and pushing it back. But I think God gave me the courage to go through with the surgery, and he gave me quick healing. And another thing that God helped me with is I got almost the exact amount from my GoFundMe that I needed to cover all my hospital pills.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah. So thank you if you donated to my GoFundMe. That was great. I appreciated that a lot.
Do you have any advice to anybody else who might be facing a major surgery, a major medical issue?
Keep your head up. It's really easy to get discouraged. Trust in God. He'll get you through it. Yeah. Just trust in God. Let him lead your way. With him, you'll make it through.
Well, thank you, Nathan.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing your story.
No problem.